Well, I'm Wendy, 51 years old, and before I came, I was a mother and a wife. I dropped out of school in 7th, 8th grade, and 15 years old, started having children, and all by myself. By the time I was 21, I had 4 kids. I've been out here on my own my whole life. I was in an active addiction for about the last 10 years, really heavy. I was homeless. I've tried every avenue. Believe me, I've tried to just say, oh, I quit. But I always found myself back on the same track. And after my husband passed away and my kids were grown, and I just found myself struggling just to really survive. It was about survival. On my birthday last year, I blacked out, and when I woke up the next morning, my grandkids and my daughter confronted me, and apparently I had said some really awful things to them. I couldn't believe it, and so I made a pact that morning, and I never want my family to feel like that about me again, or see me like that, or I never want to hurt them like I did. And I said enough was enough. So I think it was the next day, I walked around the corner to a center and told them that I wanted help. Within a couple weeks, I was up on my mission to find recovery. I got off the bus right here, and as I was getting off the bus, they were putting a sign out that said, Jesus on Colfax, and I knew that God was gonna help me through this. I knew God was gonna be the one to carry me through, and I turned to Him. I knew I had to keep following Jesus to make this happen, and so when I seen Jesus on Colfax invited me to come in, and that was it. I came in here, and they were freshly opening, and they told me that they were a ministry that had been open up the street, and just told me a little about it, and they were so welcoming and so warm, and that was it. I met them, and it was just what I needed at that time. Yeah, they were wonderful. They were just God-fearing, and then the Bible studies would start, and then the store was open, and that was providing a lot of the needs that I needed, met with food and clothing, and it was just, everything was unfolding with them just like it was with me. It was like almost meant. I one day want to have my own ministry as well, so just watching them and how they were doing it, and then they asked me to volunteer, and so I was able to learn, and I still am, and it's just amazing watching how everything is growing so fast, because now I come in with the dinners and the games and just different things that they have going on. Unfolding is just amazing to watch how God is just opening doors, and not just for me, how it would be 1 or 2 people at a time at first, and the women's group, now it's 8, 9, 12 sometimes, and the family dinners went from, 10, 15 people to one time, I don't know, it must have been 40, 50 people in here, and just amazing. It's amazing to watch God put everybody together, and yeah. I have been searching so long for just a different way and a way out, but I could never get past that point. You would get out of it, but then what? And then where would you go from there after you decided? And what's different here is they reach out. The reach out of the community just seemed like it was so different here. I truly believe because that it took a village, it took the community to pull me, to keep me from going back, that I had never had before. And I really And I always say it, I owe it to this community for where I'm at today. Now it's even on my next generation where they just helped him get his birth certificate and he's on his way out. By the grace of God, during one of my jail stays in prison, I got my GED, but I never put it to play or in use. And now I have stable housing and I've got a job. I'm actually in the medical field. Like, I've come so far. Now I just want to take off with it. I want to just push and succeed. There's just so much more. There's so much more to life than what I've experienced. I claim and receive the love of Jesus to say that my grandkids will never see a jail cell and they will never touch a drug and break a generational curses. I did it. I survived. I made it. God pulled me through some amazing things. I was just in a coma 2 years ago. And here I am, sober, and going to church, loving on my grandkids. In the community, that's another thing. I went to my first city council meeting and doing things that I never would imagine. Well, I owe it all to Jesus. I really do. And Jesus on Colfax and the Opportunity Center in my church. I believe the rate for recovery would be a lot higher if there was more organizations like this. I know it because I see it. I sit back and watch it. I've been asked that a lot. Well, how did you do it from the community? I couldn't have did it I would be right back out there if it wasn't for them. I feel like we're no longer surviving, it's succeeding. And it's all done with the glory of God.